Morning, guys. Out here again on Friday morning. Just getting this daily walk in here. A little bit of a funny story. I was actually finishing up my walk yesterday, and one of my buddies ended up calling me. Said he was listening to my TikToks and telling me how good the messages were and stuff like that, and how much he could relate, which was cool. He also, he starts a conversation off by saying 5 miles is, that's a long way. And I said, yeah, I know, can't you tell by in my videos? And he's like, yeah, you do sound like you're dying, which I'm pretty sure I did say that. I did say that these walks usually kill me. So hopefully over the course of time, they, get a little bit better. The breathing is better and I don't sound like I'm dying. Not gonna lie. Physical fitness has been on hold for a while before we moved. I really started kicking it back up again when we moved. Me and my boys, we used to go to the gym every day after work and after school. Since we moved, we haven't really been able to find a gym that, my youngest son is, not old enough to go into these gyms. So we haven't really found one yet that he's able to join with me, which kind of sucks. I mean, we could do stuff like Beachbody on Demand, which I used to do before, like P90X, which is good. But he's more into lifting weights. He really loves lifting weights. So yeah, working on that. Trying to get back into it. So definitely why I sound like I do, definitely sound like why I am dying on these walks. Like I said, hopefully that gets better. But a little bit about my buddy. So talking to him, I talked yesterday on my TikTok about struggles people face and things that happen in life, and everyday struggles. Not only just besides everyday struggles, also just struggles that are unexpected and pretty big ones that have a big impact on your life. And the last time I talked to him, I mean, he was in a pretty good spot. Him and his wife were both working, doing good, getting caught up on bills and getting things right. And I think everybody knows that sometimes that takes a while. I can for sure relate to that. I mean, I remember the days when me and my wife, you sit there and you wonder 4 days before payday, what you're not gonna be able to pay, or trying to figure out a way to make things work, and just constantly stressing about money. That definitely used to be a big thing in my life for sure. Me and my wife now, we worked hard, and we did what we needed to do, and just kept going, and it worked out for us. Which goes back to that saying, that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I mean, it's true. I always try and tell my kids, that things will work out. They will work out for sure. You just got to keep pushing. In the moment it seems horrible and like it's a lost cause, but if you just keep going, you'll get that return that you're looking for, and you'll get that peace that you're looking for. Back to my friend a little bit though. So him and his wife were doing great, and then a situation where family member, something happened with a family member, I believe, and they had twins that they couldn't take care of, and the twins, I think, were either going to go to foster care, or unless a family member could take them. And my buddy and his wife, they actually took in the kids. They have 2 older kids themselves, so raising kids, they were done. I think they kind of felt like they were starting their life, and being able to start focusing on them. So they took them in, and I think his wife ended up having to leave her job, which took away income. And talking to him, he's worried now. He's worried about money, and you know, he's worried how things are going to work out, and he's worried about the kids. You know, but one thing I can say is that, you know, he's changing those kids' lives. You know, you know, when I talk about me doing TikToks and talk about me doing YouTube, you know, for me, it's not so much about myself. I mean, I genuinely do look forward to these videos. I feel like they help me just getting stuff out and talking about relatable topics, which is nice. But also too, I mean, I think I told you guys, I mean, this is mainly, I guess, in hopes that I can potentially help someone else. You know, for someone else to be able to relate and to hear these, you know, kind of stories or situations and be like, hey, you know what? I kind of went through that. And, you know, just listening to other people talk about those things could potentially help you, or at least give you some form of comfort, like I told you guys it did for me. But as hard as I know it is for him right now, I really do believe that the return that he'll get, you know, not saying financially, that's all I'm talking about, but you know, I can't say that I'm a, you know, churchgoer or a big holy guy, but I do believe in good karma, and I also believe in bad karma. And I do believe that, you know, people who take it upon themselves to try and help people and change other people's lives and, you know, genuinely help are rewarded in some form or fashion. You know, and it's never an instant thing. Hey, I helped you today, you know, tomorrow I'm gonna be, you know, much better off. It usually never really works like that. But, you know, I mean, that's part of what I started talking about before, about, you know, right now it seems like it's difficult and like it's hard and you don't know how you're gonna make it, but you will make it. You know, you'll get through it, just like my buddy will get through it. I mean, I, you know, for sure applaud him and, you know, his wife for taking those kids in and, you know, help changing their lives. You know, I mean, I know he can't see it now, but someday he's gonna be able to look back and be like, you know what, you know, we did the right thing. And, you know, I think that even the kids, once they're old enough, they're gonna be able to see that, and they're gonna tell him that, which is, you know, fantastic. Sorry guys, I had to pause the video. Yeah, and I think that's gonna be fantastic, you know. I mean, so like I said, I definitely applaud him and his wife. You know, that's a great thing that you guys are doing, and, you know, it'll for sure work out. I know it's hard right now, but, you know, you guys will get through it. I'm trying to think of anything else I had to talk about. The only thing that I can kind of end with is I had a discussion with my son yesterday talking about kind of mindset. And it seems like a small thing, but I think I had gotten like an email or something offering me something. And it was like something that would have been good. And my son was like, I don't know, Dad, seems kind of skeptical. And I said, yeah, you know, it could be. But the message I was trying to send to him is, you know, what I told him was, you know, try looking at it from a optimistic point of view. You know, I hope that they don't go through life thinking that everything is too good to be true. I hope that they go through life excited and, you know, realizing that not everything is too good to be true. You know, great things and extraordinary things happen every day. And, you know, it seems small, but that little bit of change in your mindset can change a lot. I'm generally a more optimistic person, and I do feel like it has benefited me greatly, you know, over time. So, I mean, I guess I encourage you guys to kind of look at that too and kind of think that way. You know, maybe that can help in some form or another. But video's over, guys. Once again, if you like, go ahead and give a follow, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.